Hey, what's up guys? Coach Matt here, and today I want to shoot a video discussing one of the biggest sources of frustration that most people face in a body transformation program, and that is dealing with the scale being a liar to you. A lot of times when people are starting a diet or starting a workout program, they weigh themselves in very frequently only to be frustrated by the lack of progress that they're seeing. To get clear on some ideas, we want to understand that there's a big difference between weight loss and fat loss. And the scale only shows you changes in body weight, not necessarily changes in body composition. And as you know, we want to build muscle, but also burn fat. And if you're doing that correctly, you actually might not see that much change in body weight, at least not in the beginning. It's important to note that muscle is much more dense than body fat is. It's about 20% less dense, meaning that it takes up about 20% less space. So for burning fat and building muscle at a similar rate, you might not see a big change, but you are making great progress. Now some quick fat stats. A pound of fat is about 3,500 calories. So if you want to burn one pound of fat per week, then you need to be in about a 500 calorie deficit per day. 500 calorie deficit is pretty reasonable, and you can do it with just good nutrition and moderate activity levels. However, depending on what's going on, your weight might not change. In fact, it might seem like your weight's going up for a little bit, and I know that can drive people crazy. So what causes this weight change? Water retention is usually the biggest culprit. A lot of times when we're stressed out or if we're losing fat, your body will temporarily retain a lot more water. And the problem with this is that water retention kind of looks and feels like body fat. And in fact, you can fluctuate up to 5 to 20 pounds just in water weight. So if you're really stressed, or you're going in an extreme calorie deficit, or if you're female, depending on the time of the month, your water retention can be crazy, and that's causing your scale to lie to you and masking your progress. A couple other factors are going to be the food in your gut. The more volume of food that you're eating, the more food's going to be going through your digestive system, and that's going to be reflected on the scale. So if you're eating a lot more vegetables and fruits, that can be contributing to a little bit of weight gain, even though you're losing body fat. And as I mentioned earlier, muscle gain can also affect the scale. Since you're going to be working out and lifting weights and getting stronger, you're going to be building muscle. Your muscles are going to be getting more dense, and that's going to cause the weight to not necessarily change as much, but you will be losing body fat at the same time. So what can we do about this to get a better, accurate representation of how much progress we're making? Well, first, we want to weigh smart. Making sure that you're weighing in the same time, ideally in the morning after you use the restroom, and you want to compare that weight by the right time scales. A lot of people weigh in daily, and that daily weight's going to fluctuate all over the place. So using week to week measurements to make sure you're making progress, or for women, measuring the same week in a previous month to give you a better picture of where you are inside of the cycle. Alternatively, sometimes you might have a big spike in weight, and we want to see if we can explain that away with, did you fall off the diet? Did you have a really stressful event the prior day? What can be affecting that big spike in weight? You can usually trace it back to a behavior or an event. The biggest impact that we can have on that scale weight, and to get a better accurate picture, is reducing your water retention. As I mentioned earlier, water retention gets kicked up big time by stress. Stress hormone cortisol causes water retention in the body. So if we can lower those cortisol levels, you're going to see that water retention reduce. Things like sleeping, meditating, or just taking a break from whatever stressful activity can help big time. Usually you want to start with that sleep. If you're not getting enough sleep, everything's going to be stressing you out. So make sure you're getting that 7 to 8 hours per night. The next factor we can look at to reduce water retention is your nutrition. Making sure that you're getting enough protein can help out a lot. Well, and now looking at carbs, they can be a little tricky. Too many carbohydrates can cause water retention because glycogen, which is stored carbohydrate in the body, gets stored with water, but also too little carbohydrate. If you're restricting your carbs and doing a low carb diet, that can cause you to retain water as well. So if you're getting too many, we want to reduce it. If we're having too little, then we actually want to raise the carbohydrates a little bit. Your sodium and your potassium intake levels can also affect water retention, but usually on a short-term basis. To reduce water retention, reducing sodium and increasing potassium can help a little bit. Also, doing a diet break can help as well. If you are on a big calorie deficit, that's a source of stress on your body. So eating at maintenance levels, having a meal that's a little bit relaxed can help reduce that water retention. And you might have noticed before, if you've been really, really strict and then have a relaxed night of eating and your weight actually goes down the next day, this is why. Hydration status can also affect. If your body senses that you're becoming dehydrated, it's actually going to retain and hold on to as much water as possible. So if you're drinking enough, that's going to cause your body to relax and release some of that water. But at the end of the day, most important thing is patience. Sometimes it takes time for the scale to kind of catch up with the progress that you're making. And if you're not being patient and stressing yourself out over it, one, it's going to cause more water retention, but it could also cause you to make some bad decisions and fall off the program. And what we can do is use the right metrics or other metrics to track your progress. Taking things like measurements and how clothes are fitting. If those things are going in the right direction, then you're making progress, and keep doing what you're doing. We could also look at performance changes. How's your body performing with exercise? How do you feel? How are your energy levels? Are you getting stronger? If any of these things are happening, then you're making progress, and we want to keep doing what you're doing. Okay, guys, I hope this was helpful and it shed some light on why the scale might not be the best representation of the progress that you're making, and that it can actually be lying to you, because you could be doing everything right and losing body fat, but that number on the scale is going all over the place. So just be patient. If you don't feel like the program's working for you, then dialing it in, making some adjustments, and working with your coach can be the difference maker. All right, have a great day, and I hope this helped.